always drawn to one another.
In this world, wrestling is not like
Who the hell do you think you are?
You prime date, you ugly sack of shit.
Trust no one. And never forget. You wanted this killing, so you have to win.
coming this summer.
To win the ultimate prize against overwhelming odds.
You really think you have what it takes to get the holy belt?
Don't fuck with me!
The day you finally strike back against your agony. The day you cross that line.
I think you feel sorry.
That line
It's not
never be
real!
crossed.
Magic.
Very complex.
No, that's wrong.
According to the plan.
喜べ少年
Cut the shit.
Guys, come on. Leon, I'm sorry to interrupt your vacation, but we really need to talk. You really need to fuck Chris's sister, Claire.
No thanks, bro.
Alpha, do you read?
Nighthawk, this is Punk from Alpha Team.
Man, I thought you were all wiped out. I've been trying.
I'm at point K-12. Need info on my extraction.
How many battlers are there?
Here's the
How
cover!
many?
What was that thing you used to say, Battler? Come on, it's worth a laugh.
The final rumble. Clash of jobbers and champions.
By this report, Kevin Nash was viciously.
Meanwhile, Frazier says, quote, I became depressed, I was blaming myself, and I was miserable.
Will you please welcome my very good friend, Mr. Todd Howard.
Hi, I'm Cassie from LTV, and I'm here with Josh Beck.
Hi.
Josh,
Okay, so,
I promise
you ready?
and you'll be proud to call me your brother again.
Do you remember this story?
What do you want, Redfield? What do you want, Leon?
Two men named Leon and Chris fight to see whether or not Leon is going to fuck Chris's sister. Leon and his best friend Fred lead the No Way Fag faction, while Chris and his therapist lead the Fuck My Sister faction. These two groups battle for supremacy and ownership of the case of Leon's sperm in the TFR wrestling arena.
Bonjour. Yes. Yes, there's a plan.
Little do they know that the Bogdanovs have their own plans for it. One of the Bog's pawns, known only as Extra, wins the championship belt through a huge ring upset. His victory was short-lived, however, because in the following match, his title was taken by Hunk, a mercenary originally sent into TFR by Albert Wesker in order to retrieve the case. Hunk then suddenly vanishes. Due to that, a team of mystery masters led by Sminen, consisting of Phoenix Wright and Shuichi Saihara, recruit jobber Battler Ushiromiya to help conduct an investigation of the Bog's plot and Hunk's true location. The truth was that in order to curtail Hunk's potential threat to their plans, the Bogdanovs sent a team to ambush and capture him. The The Mystery Master sent a team to rescue Hunk, but as it turns out, he rescued himself long before they arrived. Hunk then proceeded to retaliate against the Bogs by aiding the Mystery Masters in fighting Armstrong. Battler was then challenged by his grandfather Kingzo, but the bond Battler felt with his new friend empowered him to defeat Kingzo for his first ever victory in TFR.
ああ、ダメだぜ。全然ダメだ。うおー
The Mystery Masters uncovered the Bogdanovs' plan to take over the world with the BCW broadcast and relayed this information to their allies to stop them. Receiving info on the plot from the Mystery Masters, Fred, Leon, Chris, and Therapist agreed to put aside their differences that started this conflict in the first place and allied together in order to fight the Bogdanovs. As a true team, they proceed to challenge the Bogs and the Minions to prevent the Bogs' plan of world domination from ever becoming a reality.
With the defeat of the Bogs, Sminem and his team worked to deprogram their past minions from their brainwashing in order to save them. TFR also has its first King of the Board tournament, but dark forces loom in the background. Leon falls into a coma, while Fred is captured by the sound of sped and locked in a truck. Meanwhile, dramatically, Hunk quits the final rumble, citing the lack of monetary compensation from TFR as the reason. Todd Howard reveals himself and orders his loyal minions, Fargoth and the janitor, who does it for free, to besiege TFR in revenge for ruining his sponsorship deal with BCW, who does shield his products 24/7.
Now, we are going to be harvesting mangoes in Tahiti. Farmers.
Dutch Vanderlind, who was previously the right-hand man of Chris, before Chris got sick of him, and tag team partner of Arthur Morgan, before the same happened, allies with Sir Ruber, and joins the Order of Todd. Angrets aside, the Joker discards his persona and reveals himself as Adachi to rise up against those who have wronged him These free wrestlers choose to pledge their allegiance to Todd in order to further their own ends. A counter-Todd strike team, with Pegasus and Irvin at the helm, is formed to oppose the threat the Order of Todd poses to TFR. And throughout all of these events, the rivalry between Agent 47 and Battler slowly heats up.
I have an announcement to make. Battler is a shitter who cannot escape me forever. He can suck my fucking dick. Also, Battler is gay.
After Virgil defeats Janny, Todd captures him and transforms him into Nello Angelo to serve as his unwilling pawn. V himself defeats Nello Angelo and fuses with him to turn him back to Virgil. Alpha and Omega is back. Virgil then reveals that the source of Todd's strength comes from the mind link he shares with his minions, and defeating them will reduce Todd's overall power. Todd had one minion he could not fully dominate despite the mind link, so he had the ferocious warrior encaged. Doomguy. Irvin, in a fit of reckless bravery, sacrificed himself to disrupt the link between the mad developer and the raging beast he sought to control. The conflict between the Counter-Todd strike team and True Demon Todd reaches its climax as our heroes defeat his minions to create an opportunity for the Brothers of Sparta to strike at Todd himself and slay the demonic king.
Remember what we used to say? Jackpot.
Around the same time, the mysterious Dr. Richthofen learns that the focusing stone, an artifact infused with alien energy full of unfathomable power, has been taken by a fearsome adversary. Remember, don't call anybody.
After Todd's defeat, things slowly began to return back to normal. One fateful day, however, during a tag team match between Team No Way Fag and Team Fuck My Sister, the fabric of reality was torn down and everyone was sucked into a time warp. Faces old and new alike throw down in wrestling rings across time. Dr. Richtofen reveals to everyone that Christian has stolen the focusing stone to attempt the merge of dimensions. This has destabilized the space-time continuum. Battler Shiramiya defeats Christian at the final unstable point of time and returns everyone to the present. But he and a group of wrestlers have disappeared, displaced to another point in history. Richtofen proceeds to take the stone for himself and leaves the universe, with his job here complete. But a person who shouldn't be here arrives to the present timeline. Meanwhile, in the main 2K19 universe, Kinzo was found dead in his room, and 47 wildly claims that Black Battler did it.
Dear the Faggot Rumble, I have yet another announcement to make. It was me, I did it, I put the hit on Kinzo, I baked that lasagna. Also, Battler Negro is real.
Battler and his group arrive at Rokenjima Island, where he searches for a way to escape. Hunk arrives at the island with the stone taken from the doctor. Battler and Hunk fight for the stone. After a hard-fought match ends in Battler's defeat. However, Hunk's mysterious client instructs him to give him the stone anyway. Battler uses the stone to return everybody to the present, but a person who shouldn't be here arrives to the present timeline along with him, and Battler needs to defeat him or have his existence be replaced. Battler uses his combination of truths to assault the Black Battler and denies his existence by proclaiming that Agent 47 orchestrated Kinzo's death in reality. Afterwards, at the peak of a long rivalry, Battler confronts Agent 47 over his actions, and they decide to settle this in a final match in Rokujima's secret wrestling ring. This ends in Battler's total defeat.
Deserved, Michael. Yeah, but I don't think his opponent is happy about losing here. He's got to be humiliated and embarrassed. He thought he was going to win this match. Oh, I kind of did too.
What a faggot. This kills the Battler.
Battler is left in a coma after being defeated by Agent 47 from the events of the previous season. The Mystery Masters decide to actively recruit to fill in the gap due to Battler's absence. After reviewing the applicants, they decide to hire Kyle Hyde after he proves himself in a match against the other candidates. Meanwhile, Kojima decides to buy half of the final Rumble after witnessing a match between Hunk and The Big Show, seeing huge opportunity in the brand.
Hello everyone. I'm back.
Kojima traps certain wrestlers in his created 2K20 universe and turns them into his own personal playthings with the help of his reality warping script.
I don't believe it. 4 years ago. Kojima is God. Kojima is God.
During these events, Extra learns the truth about his life before being brainwashed by the Bogs and reconnects with his past.
All hell is broken loose on Raw, and we have an NXT superstar who just won the Universal Championship.
7 years. 7 years ago, you took what was mine.
You really want to do this?
If we don't fight back after what they did, then we don't deserve those spots.
Package deal. I'm in.
Kojima decides to put the Final Rumble's wrestlers through ridiculous scenarios and punishments if they were to lose matches. With the script, Kojima additionally and heartlessly conspires to get rid of any wrestler who isn't useful, interesting, or doesn't agree with him through something called the Final Impact that would bring devastation to the original 2K19 universe. Wright begins behaving erratically and denies his own longtime partner CST the chance to fight with him for the tag team title in favor of his old friend Edgeworth, but promises Kyle Hyde and Shuichi CST a chance to fight in future opportunities. Those opportunities only resulted in further pain for the Mystery Masters. Sminem, who's locked in the original 2K19 universe, is helpless to stop Kojima. Kirei Kodobin went to hell to challenge Mr. Bones for an unknown reason, and defeats his top servant La Parka. Mr. Bones did not expect this match to end in the loss of La Parka the First. TFR's wrestlers become increasingly angry with how they're being treated by Kojima and begin to riot, so Kojima uses his team of genetically modified wrestlers as a weapon against them. After defeating the TFR roster with his team of prototypes, Kojima prepares to initiate the Final Impact, but is stopped by the Cartel Rumble, a rival wrestling organization who have been called in to return an old favor. TCR successfully defeats the prototypes and are able to delay Kojima's plans further. Kojima decides to go all out with his forces, including Senator Armstrong, to guarantee the Final Impact success. An amnesic battler wakes up as Toya Hachicha, who is devoid of all memories with the exception of his experience fighting Hunk, oh so long ago. Wright apologizes profusely to the rest of the Mystery Masters, and explains that his suspicious behavior was due to him trying to get on Kojima's good side in order to stop the Final Impact from happening, and to be in a position of care for an unconscious Battler. It is revealed that while Battler was in a coma, he was barraged by Kojima's testing his powers while shaping the new universe. Hunk was also hired by Kojima long before his match with The Big Show as part of a grander deception, and Kojima was the one who told Hunk to give Battler the stone. Kojima arrives onto the scene and taunts the Mystery Master's efforts to stop him. Kotomian and his new servant Dimitri suddenly appear to aid the Mystery Masters, to prevent any interruptions in Toya's showdown, and to repay an old debt to Battler. As the future would show, this would only cause more suffering. To gain control over the reality warping script, Toya battles Hunk, Kojima's #1 weapon, and the man who gave him the stone that led him to becoming who he was. The final battle between the enigmatic writer and the legendary mercenary began. Toya was completely focused on the fight, and powered by his comprehensive knowledge of Hunk from a distant memory, he's able to read his moves and pin him again and again for an overwhelming victory. Toya and his friends stop Kojima with the help of the script now in their possession, and saves TFR from the delusional writer.
Europe, Asia, Africa. Chris Redfield, an agent of STARS, visited these and all other continents the world had to offer. And yet he still met only one man worthy of Claire.
You want my sister? You can have her. I left everything you need together at my place. Now you just have to fuck her.
These words called this man to Chris's house, promising dreams greater than he ever dared to imagine. This is the man known as the Great Leon S. Kennedy.
Come aboard and bring along all your Aryan sperm. Together we will become family once you marry her. Leon. Condoms left behind, they will only slow us down. Your cock will be your guide, raise the shaft and ease her down. That legendary child that the end of 9 months reveals is only legendary till you two make it real. Through all the intercourse, through the pleasure, through Claire's thighs, know that I will be there to stand by you, just so I know you come inside. So come aboard and bring along all your Aryan sperm. Together we will become family once you marry her. There's always room for more if you want to try for twins. Leon, just for Claire. Leon. Gotta hype fast. Gotta hype fast. Gotta hype faster, 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 faster.
After being invited to a conference, 60 of the Final Rumble's wrestlers wake up in an unsettling room. They soon realize that they are now part of a sinister death game under the control of a cruel and mysterious La Parka. The Mystery Masters lie trapped in the 2K20 universe where the death game is held, and try their best to investigate their surroundings and escape. Hunk is the first one to go after a special pregame vote is created, where the audience is told to simply vote for their favorite. For those trapped in the death game, every week they are subject to La Parka's gruesome challenges, where losing means being put into an audience poll where they can be potentially voted to go on the wild ride. However, Kaname Date, Raiden, and Oishi take it upon themselves to investigate the missing wrestlers and the sudden death of the new wrestler, Tomotage Jiro. Business carries on as usual for most of the other wrestlers, blissfully unaware of the death game. Date learns that director Hideo, who is Kojima's old producer and is now helping manage TFR, has access to a broadcast of the death game featuring the missing wrestlers. He, however, explains that he is not the cause of it. They learn that Kiri and Dimitri are attempting to collect all 4 of the TFR belts in order to make a certain wish through their magical energy, and come to suspect the duo of being involved in the death game and work to stop them. Kyrie attempts to gain the final belt currently owned by Adam Jensen, and attempts to draw him out by losing his belt to Ingerland, who he is working with under the promise of exchanging the belt back for a wish. The broadcast of the death game is made public, and the other wrestlers seek to rescue their friends. After talking to Ingerland, who exclaimed his excitement for the wish he believes Kyrie will grant him, it dawned on Dimitri that he was being deceived, and Kyrie never intended to grant him his own wish of finding Edelgard, and attempts to find Kyrie in order to confront him about his betrayal. Adam Jensen had no excuse to not accept his challenge at this point, so they fought in the ring. However, he successfully defends his belt and prevents Kyrie from getting a crucial piece for his plans. Over the course of the death game, Agent 47 is tortured by his inability to save Max Payne from the initial slaughter. His sanity slowly slips, and he begins acting as if he were battler Yushiro Miya. In the middle of the death game, Toya Hachijo, the hero who defeated Kojima, is voted out, leaving the Mystery Masters in despair. But they choose not to give up hope and fight with all they have. Mr. X calls everyone to the broom closet and reveals to the remaining wrestlers that Tommy Wiseau was actually Rick Toffin, possessed by an alien parasite that resided inside the focusing stone that he had attempted to steal from an SC lab. Mr. X uses the focusing stone to cut off access to the Killing Games universe and end the broadcast of the events within, thus angering Laparca. Date and his team find Kyrie Kotomi in an attempt to arrest him. When Dimitri arrives looking for answers from the quartered man, her nervous Kyrie activates his last command seal on Dimitri and forces him to fight off the Coopers. When Date, Yu, and Raiden defeat Dimitri, Kyrie suddenly shows up to sucker punch Date. But before Kyrie can strike again, Dimitri rises up and goes after Kyrie, bringing him down before he's arrested by the team. While the Coomer gang are mulling about their inability to stop the death game, Delta appears abruptly and reveals that he possesses a portal in his truck that leads to the other universe. Date frantically calls for a larger team to assemble in order to save their friends. The surviving wrestlers leave where they were, only to find a room filled with the soulless husks of the participants claimed by the death game. La Parka suddenly enters the room with his minions and has them gun down Mr. X for breaking the rules before he can react, and tells the remaining wrestlers to go to the meeting room lest they all meet the same fate. La Parka explains that those husks in the rooms were their former compatriots with their minds broken through the pain of being on the wild ride. Those who avoided the vote the previous week by Mr. X's interference are then put into hand-picked death matches by La Parka himself. These special matches pit the wrestlers against dolls of people who hold a special relation to them. The park reveals that the dolls were actually humans from another timeline, and altered to have missing memories, and conditioned to be helpless to resist his commands. When all the matches were finished, La Parka reveals that the losers of these matches would be personally executed by their opponent, and gives each of the winners a gun. Unable to resist through inexplicable means, each of the winners of the death matches are forced to kill their opponent. La Parka then kills every surviving doll, making them explode in a display of fireworks. The survivors are then directed to a new room that opened at the end of the corridor for the final challenge.
the dev game participants arrive in a room familiar only to Shuichi Sayara. The showdown between the last survivors and La Parka began. La Parka forces them through a series of deadly questions about the nature of a game and what they've learned during their time here, and any wrong answer could result in death. Through their deliberations about the topics of the questions, many secrets are revealed. The true meaning of SC Labs. The existence of 5 imposter dolls under La Parka's control, concealed within the original 60 participants, where they would have caused death if they were not voted out. And the current episode where these events are taking place. La Parka explains that they're all actually under the influence of Team Rumble in their 53-season-long show, who induce conflict among them to keep the masses entertained. For him, this dev game is an act of rebellion and vengeance against Team Rumble, where they'd be able to go out on their own terms. He also claims that Sminem Corporation is a subsidiary of Team Rumble, and the ones responsible being the Bogdanov twins. And Sminem. When the topic of Battler comes up, La Parka fumes with rage and reveals the true Toya Hashijo, and makes no effort to hide his disdain of Toya. La Parka personally wanted his doll to undermine his friends, while the true Toya watches, helpless to intervene. But the Mystery Masters only came out of it stronger. La Parka accuses Sminem of being a villain, and that Toya Hashijo is actually Hunk, Team Rumble's greatest enforcer. But the Mystery Masters refuse to accept such truth. The final question posed by La Parka is, who is at fault for your suffering? While Sayara is deliberating what answer to give, the stone that was given to Sayara shines and reveals a vision of an alternate timeline where Toya was unable to defeat Hunk and Kojima. In that timeline, Sminem sacrifices himself to defeat Kojima and save the Mystery Masters. with those visions of Sminem's sacrifice. Sayhara rejects La Parca's claims that Sminem is truly a villain and argues that it's impossible for Toya to be hung or to not have been their friend, Battler Shiromia. La Parca refuses to believe that Sminem isn't the real villain and reveals that his true identity is actually Ban, Battler after not surviving. He explains that after his defeat to Agent 47 on Rockin' Jima, he left humiliated. When the artifact he was carrying for his boss Sminem suddenly started glowing, he found himself in a new universe, constantly under assault by a raw, primal magic for what felt like an eternity, and wished for the sweet release of death. Before he could completely lose consciousness, Battler saw his old boss Sminem approach his convulsing body and take the artifact from him. To his shock, Sminem did nothing to save him from the dreadful fate, musing aloud that he knew that this would happen. The negative feelings Battler held penetrated another plane and manifested as all of humanity's evil. It is revealed that when Kirei first descended into hell, his goal was to free the caged beast by challenging Mr. Bones. As a reward for being able to beat Bones' servant, La Parca 1, he was able to recruit the captured Dimitri as his servant and given the power to select the next king of hell. Kirei, seeing his old friend's sad fate, chose Battler to be the next king of hell and to become La Parca 2. Yet, Battler was not satisfied with the vessel he was supplying. And so, Bans reveals that another goal of this dev game was to find a new, suitable host body. The dev game would have tested the charisma, intelligence, and strength of all the participants, and the winner would be selected as the new host for Bans. "47 answers the final question laid out by Bans before Sayhara could reply, and gives himself as the reason for all the suffering during this game. Agent 47 is filled with remorse for his previous actions, and admits he was only adopting a Battler Shiromia persona as a way to cope with the guilt due to having his suspicions of Battler being the true culprit all along. 47 wanted to believe that if he were Battler, it wouldn't be impossible for Battler to be La Parca. Agent 47 is given the opportunity to challenge bans as a result. The two old rivals enter the ring to do battle once more, with everyone's survival on the line. Agent 47 is brutally defeated by bans. The victorious ruler of hell proceeds with his plan of initiating the Royal Rumble to find a suitable host body. Before doing so, however, he brutally murders Koya Hashijo. Over the course of a despair-filled Royal Rumble, Miles Edgeworth ends up victorious.
With this tragic end to the death game, the Mystery Masters vanished.
Date and the other wrestlers from the other world finally arrive to a somber scene.
The missing wrestlers are nowhere to be seen, save for two men laughing in the distance.